Find them on the web at tampaplumber.net and get a coupon for service. Do you have a roof leak but no one to trust? You need to call Doug with Suncoast Roofing Solutions at 888-888-ROOF, where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first. Find them on the web at suncoastroofingsolutions.com. And now, your host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Cotto.
Welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. You guys are watching us hopefully on our website, tbhh.tv. You can also catch us on WeBeam TV anytime. It's an awesome internet TV station, or our Facebook page. Just search for the Business Happy Hour. If you're listening on Sunday mornings, we're going to throw out that offer one more time. You text a picture of you watching the show or text a picture of your dial and give me your name and address. We'll send you a Hooters gift card if you're a guy and a Nordstrom's gift card if you're a lady. So, right back to what we were talking about. We have some cop attorney talk over here. It's pretty exciting radio if you ask me. And if you get pulled over while you're on the show, Chris is going to take care of you for free. He's not listening right now, which is hilarious. But no, picking right up. I tell you, if you get pulled over by Tyler, and Tyler's not even a legitimate officer anymore, so if you get pulled over by Tyler ladies, you probably should keep driving and find a lighted parking lot. So anyway, Chris was telling us, we were talking about this alleged story from Ryan's alleged friend about this alleged car. And Chris was talking about something about a witness, you were going to say, somebody who saw something?
Yeah, they can't charge you with a misdemeanor, a traffic misdemeanor, if you are not witnessed having done it. If somebody cannot place you behind the wheel of a car, then they've got no basis to charge you. The state can't create its case. It can't form what's called corpus delicti, which is the body of the wrong. And that's step number one. You have to identify the person as the driver, so you would need a wheel witness, somebody you can place them behind the wheel.
But could the guy that the alleged person hit be that witness?
Yeah, but then he'd have to identify him.
Have to pick you out of a lineup.
Well, probably pick you out of a lineup or be able to point you out in court. I saw a little trick played on somebody one time where the defense attorney, pretty clever down in St. Pete, sat his defendant in the back of the courtroom between two ladies, and sat a similar-looking guy, not at the defense table, but at one of the benches behind there. And the lady officer was unsure, and she identified the guy sitting in the front as the defendant, and turned out she was wrong.
Oh, and so at that point, case closed.
Case closed. End of story. Judge Overton.
Wow.
Got rid of it. Absolutely.
Good for him.
That's some good lawyering right there.
That is. So, I will say in college, that story Ryan allegedly gave about this alleged person, that happened a lot. I mean, I know multiple people who would, get in an accident, usually single car accidents, not hit and runs, and they would ditch their car and just run. And it's apparently that's a pretty good tactic. It's not good for Chris because Chris doesn't get a client out of it. But
I can't condone that at all.
I cannot condone that. No. But
when not to flee.
Hey, yeah. Here at the Business Happy Hour, we're just all about different strategies. Tyler's strategy is you take the beat down first, and then your blood-soaked mouth you blow. And Chris's idea is the more blood on the actual monitor prevents it actually from triggering the alcohol. And this is horrible. Personally, I've never experienced this type of situation. Mike, have you ever been in this situation before?
Not in 10 years.
All right, there you go. All right. So
I got a question. Okay, so you get pulled over and you blow, right? Where is that going to be? Where are we going to be in 6 months? Legal and a best attorney, best practices. We're throwing down money to make it go away.
Yep.
What's the steps? What's the steps if you blow?
Well, obviously, if you feel you've done well on video and you're confident and you only want a 30-day suspension of your license followed by a potential 6-month where you could have a hardship during that period of time, obviously the least hassle with less chance of getting out of it would probably be to render a breath sample.
If I render a blow, that's pretty cool. But
sorry, render a breath sample.
Was it a female officer or was it I'm just wondering. I mean, I don't know these legal terms. I'm sorry.
They don't do blood work, right? Does the county do blood work?
No, blood work is only authorized under certain circumstances. Okay. The police can ask you voluntarily to give blood, and you could, but if you're in a situation where you have caused bodily harm to somebody in an automobile accident, or actually you're harmed yourself in the automobile accident, then the police can force a legal draw oftentimes they simply get the medical draw from the hospital that's done. They can do that, and there's a difference in the way they measure it. There's whole blood, which is what the legal draw is, and serum blood is what the hospital does. It's a little bit of a variation, but it's basically in the same neighborhood. But in 6 months' time, to answer your question, all things going by the numbers, if you're my client by then, I'm negotiating hard to get your DUI reduced, say, to reckless driving or dropped based on some constitutional violation or other technicality. If not, then I'm making sure that you're completing your DUI school. I'm making sure that your substance evaluation's done. I'm getting your community service out of the way, so by the time you plea, if you plead to a DUI and you get convicted, then you're possibly entitled to early release of, early termination of your probation upon completion of conditions. And if you get them all done by the time you plea out, then you're on a very short term of probation, and then you can go out again and raise hell.
But if you that's assuming you blow.
Assuming you blow, and assuming that the blow is above the limit and it holds up.
And it holds up. Yeah. Early termination. I mean, we already know if you blow, it's 30 days, and then you go get your hardship. So you're saying, I mean, you basically, if you blow, you may take the DUI on the record, but you're somewhat out of trouble faster. Is that?
Well, you could be, because part of the mandatory sentence of a first-time DUI, the minimum mandatory, requires you to be placed on a period of 12 months probation with DUI school, substance evaluation and treatment, 50 hours of community service, pay these fines, and the vehicle impoundment if applicable, if you own the vehicle.
Now, I've heard that. I've heard that they always impound your vehicle.
Yeah,
is that right?
It depends. There are times when to impound it would cause a hardship to a third party, and if there's some evidence on the record that, my husband and we share a car and I won't be able to take the kids to school, then the judge can waive the impoundment. But one of the interesting things is if your blow is over a .25, then you're going to have the intoxilizer.
You've already been intoxilized.
No, the ignition interlock device installed on your car at your own expense, which you have to have for a year on the car. So every time,
.25. That's up there.
Lot. Actually, it's actually .20. They're .20, and it's going to be .15. They're lowering.
Oh my God,
that's crazy, isn't it?
That's crazy because the legal limit
to be that's comatose.
Yeah, well, no, guys, .15 is not a lot. The legal limit used to be .10.
Yeah, 2 glasses of wine.
For real, yeah, 110-pound girl has 2 glasses of wine. She's probably .15.
Yeah,
potentially.
The bottom line is if you've been drinking, just call an Uber for God's sake.
Well, seriously, Uber is so
or
damn
buy a
cheap.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Step up your
Now,
game.
let's
yourself
ask
home.
Chris about that. Is that a legit defense if my car is driving for me? I wish you guys could see his face right now. Seriously, if you can't, you need to watch the next show.
Frank, in the words of Michael Caine, very few people scare me, but mate, you scare the hell out of me. Let me tell you something. You're a frightening person.
His eyes were bigger than his forehead right now. He's like, so.
That is going to be a whole other area of law that is going to be created.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
But put it this way: if you could be charged with DUI for sitting in a parking lot, anywhere in your car, if you can start the car.
Yeah, funny story of that. My half brother got charged with DUI sitting in his car off, key in the ignition, in a gas station parking lot, passed out, and he got a DUI.
Actual physical control, APC they call it. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb based upon what we know. If at any point in time you can take control of that car from the car itself, you have the ability to drive the car without the car driving you, then I'm going to say that you can be charged with DUI in that situation. Sure.
Good point.
Because the legislature doesn't want you to even have the possibility of being in that situation.
So we're a long way away from that legislative-wise because even the Teslas, they're not fully autonomous. So you have to turn it on, you have to turn it off. But even when the Google cars come out and they are fully autonomous,
I'm
sure you're going to be able to take over the car at some point. We're a little ways away from that.
That's why I'll stay by the first statement, Uber.
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 Yeah. And guys,
Frank's talking about George Jetson. You're jumping in the car.
It is much cheaper.
I'll tell you one business idea that I'm very saddened that Uber has not picked up on. And Uber, if you're listening, do this before I do. Why not have Uber ride along? Okay, you have a second Uber person riding in the front seat with the Uber driver. The biggest hurdle to people calling Uber, in my opinion, is that you don't want to leave your car. Just like a cab. You're out somewhere. You don't want to leave your car in South Tampa, go all the way back to Odessa, got to go get your car the next day. So you make a horrible decision to drive while intoxicated. Where if there was a service like Uber something, Uber driver, whatever we could call it, They drive to your car. There's an extra driver in the car. He hops in your car, drives it back, followed by the first guy. They get in and go to the next stop.
$1 million
idea. I'll pay twice for
a
that.
drunk society.
It's a great idea. But
Yeah.
I think that until that service comes out, what you got to do is you got to Uber out. And then you Uber back in. Yeah. You know,
That's what you do, too.
You know, you got to Uber out. You got to plan on not being able to drive.
What do you think, Chris?
I think that's a great idea, but I think that Uber's got to get its own insurance situation straightened out before it starts.
It's a mess.
Trying to figure out liability on other people's automobiles.
Maybe they should call Mike at Triton Insurance.
We don't even have markets for it, to be honest with you.
Really?
I mean, there's not one company out there. MapFree is one of the companies that's doing it right now, or foremost. But none of the other companies. And
Really? They don't want to insure Uber?
Yeah, they don't insure it. They don't insure it. Now, Uber says that once they get in the vehicle and the clock starts ticking on an Uber call, that their $1 million policy kicks in.
That's true.
But if you're en route to pick up somebody and you get in a fender bender or a fatality, a fender bender is no big deal. But if somebody gets hurt, that's when they look at the policy and they decide, we're not going to cover you. Well, we don't cover shared driver.
Yeah,
we don't ride sharing. We don't cover ride sharing.
I didn't know that.
But they ask the questions at 2:00 in the morning, and you're on your way someplace else. And that's what they do. The cops ask questions, and it's recorded statements, and everything's verified, and they're re-verified a week later, and that's how they do it. They blow holes in it. They blow holes in it.
Yeah, he's right. When Uber first came out, just because of all those implications, it terrified me.
Yeah, and there are some implications. But listen, we got to take a quick break. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi, I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers. Thank you for choosing us for all of your plumbing, septic, and water treatment needs. What makes us different at Tampa Bay Plumbers is that we're a local full-service plumbing contractor that can handle any project large or small, including curtain-place pipelining, septic installations, and various water treatment products. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or 24/7 by phone at 813-PLUMBER. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
Today and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way?
Everyone has a bank, but you definitely need a Frank. Lincoln Lending Group specializes in mortgages that banks won't touch, like loans for people with 1 day out of foreclosure, bankruptcy, and short sale. Call Frank today at 813-MORTGAGE, and remember, you drop the E and he drops the fee. Call Ryan at 813-PLUMBER for the most reliable professional plumber in town. Tampa Bay Plumbers is available day and night for your emergency plumbing needs. Find them on the web at tampaplumber.net and get a coupon for service. Do you have a roof leak but no one to trust? You need to call Doug with Suncoast Roofing Solutions at 888-888-ROOF, where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first. Find them on the web at suncoastroofingsolutions.com. And now, your host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Cotto.
Welcome back to the show, guys. Thanks for listening. We're on our final segment. I got to say, it's been one of the most interesting shows that we've had in a long time, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean the DUI situation is pretty crazy. People definitely, I think pretty much everyone can agree that we need to be a little more careful when we're out at restaurants and you have a few too many glasses of wine and you don't want to leave your car there. You just got to think and plan ahead a little bit better.
Yeah, let's put that in perspective. Chris, how much is a DUI these days, average?
Well, you're going to pay your attorney. I usually for a first-time DUI, for your attorney's fee, it'll probably end up costing anywhere between, depending on who you hire, anywhere between $1,500 and up to $5,000, depending on who you hire.
Okay.
You're going to pay costs. You're going to pay the court costs, which are going to be about $1,000. You're going to pay probation every month, about $50. You're going to pay investigative fees, which are usually somewhere under $100. You're going to pay for your DUI school, and then you're going to pay jacked up insurance on top of everything else.
SR22 filings, and your premium is going to go 3 or 4 times as much, and your coverage is going to be lower because it's so damn expensive.
What about the medical bills from the beatdown that Tyler issues? What do you think?
It's covered by the city of Tampa.
Oh, okay. All right, we're good. Never mind on the medical bill.
That's where all your parking money goes.
Yeah, exactly. So the Dunkin' Donuts fund, I know, right? So in reality, we're talking it could be almost $10,000.
The thing that's not even included in that number that he mentioned is that, if you have a profession where you're a driver, let's say you're a service plumber or an AC technician or a mechanic
or a realtor.
Yeah, a realtor.
Yeah.
You're either out of business or you're paying for a driver for a year.
Yeah.
So that adds $30,000 to the cost of the DUI.
That's
absolutely
100% true. So
that hypothetical person that we were talking about earlier knows all about that.
that guy had a lot of information. That
guy spent a lot of money that year on that DUI.
So the lesson to be learned, and we're going to circle back to it with Chris, but the lesson to be learned is don't drive drunk. Call Uber. I mean, it costs literally $23 to get picked up in a BMW to go from Ybor City to freaking Citrus Park, guys.
And you can drink in the back.
Yeah, we'll talk legalities on that.
Have you guys used Uber?
Many times.
I never have.
I use it constantly.
I used it one time.
Yeah.
Did you?
We use it a lot. Let me tell you.
You got the app? You got the app on your phone?
When I was in Italy, 3 or 4 months ago, my wife and I are sitting there at the Pantheon, okay, and there's a whole bunch of little restaurants and bars, drinking a couple bottles of wine, and we didn't drive. I didn't have my car, obviously, in Italy, but I Ubered. I called Uber into the Pantheon Square in a black BMW 5 Series, pulled up and picked me up and drove me 35 minutes out to our hotel. And it cost me €18, which came out to like a mid $20.
Yeah,
so nothing.
It's really cheap. I mean,
nothing. It was cheaper than a cab.
And you're right, it's clean cars because taxis are overall gross.
The thing that's great about Uber, Mike, is you can view the driver's rating before they even get to you,
and the car type,
the moment that they assign a car to you, if it has like a 4.6 rating, cancel. Boom. Yep. You want a 4.8 driver or above,
and you can call one for somebody else. I called an Uber for my mother when we were in Charlotte to take her to the airport, and she's like, "Oh, you didn't call me to find out if I even got there safe." I said, "You're right, Mom, because I tracked everywhere you were on my phone, and I saw the car, and I saw it take you to the airport and drop you off."
Sure.
I totally. Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry, Kathy. I'm sure you're not listening anyway.
No, she's not.
So, one more thing I wanted to mention, and this is really kind of the scary thing. The elements of a DUI are that you're driving or in actual physical control of the car, that you're under the influence of alcohol or controlled substance. The third element is that it's to the extent your normal faculties are impaired. That's all the state has to prove. The blow, the .08, That's just simply a presumption. If you blow .08 or higher, the jury may presume your normal faculties are impaired, but they don't have to presume it. It's rebuttable. But the state doesn't need a blow to necessarily prove that your normal faculties are impaired. So you can actually blow below the legal limit, and the state may decide, well, you're probably smoking pot too. Well, yeah, I've had people that have been on prescription medication, and the accidents weren't even their fault, but they admit to being on oxycodone. And all of a sudden they find that they're charged with DUI and they've consumed no alcohol. Wow. And you don't even know if they have enough oxy in their system to even intoxicate them. So, as long as the state can prove its elements, that's why you got to be extra careful.
I want Tyler to chime in on that. Tyler, we got a couple minutes left. So chime in on that whole thing, because I know there's things that Chris was talking about on the break that you used as the most aggressive DUI attorney in history. I'm sorry, DUI cop in history. And you what are these things you use to figure out if they're impaired other than the blowing device?
Well, we used, and this is going back 20 years. It's been a long time, but we used what they call the nystagmus gaze test, where we basically would hold a pen up and have them follow it with their eyes. And when you get to one extreme or the other, their eyes start jerking back and forth, and that's a clear indication, scientifically proven, that they're impaired. Of
any substance as well?
Of any substance.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's nothing I can take and you won't figure it out?
No, not a thing.
God dang. So.
And if that doesn't work, I'll just beat you down until you fail the test anyway.
And he started this 20 years ago, way before this whole Black Lives Matter thing. So.
You're a victim, Frank.
I'm a victim. I've been a victim my whole life. I think I was born a victim.
You poor thing.
So that's interesting. So great point by Chris that it's not just the alcohol that gets you. It could be anything. And great point by Tyler here that you guys can get nailed no matter what. So the gist of this, guys, is think about it. First of all, think about it before you make that stupid decision. Second of all, once you have made that stupid decision and you're caught in that spot, all right, think about whether you should blow or not based on your job and what you're going to go through. Chris has offered some very good advice, but the best thing you can do after you've made these bad decisions is call Chris Debari at his direct line. By the way, he always represents you, unlike other attorneys. And the number is 727-656-7852 or cdbinjurylaw.com. I want to thank Chris for coming on the show today.
Appreciate being here, guys. Great to hang out with you.
Great time. And Tyler, thanks for hanging out and talking about that. We didn't know that he was a former officer, and we found out, say, man, you got to come back and do the show when Chris comes on. So that was awesome. And then Mike, VP of Triton Insurance, cheapest insurance in town.
Don't use the word cheapest.
Cheapest budget insurance. No, I'm kidding.
Tyler does look like a cop, though. He's got the raspy cop voice there too. He is
I
thought
scary.
he was like New Jersey.
I didn't get to tell my nice
rasp.
cop story.
Yeah, you think about it. This was a perfect day. You had the police officer, the lawyer, the insurance, and hypothetical man.
Hypothetical man. Well, guys, 3 seconds left. Thank you, hypothetical man. Thank you, everybody, for coming. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour.